One of the easiest things to do if you're a parasitic narcissist is to just throw out an allegation of, oh my God, he's an abuser. Everyone's going to believe them. They're usually very good actors. They have no empathy. They have no feelings. Guess who is going to be on trial and is going to lose their career? It's going to be you. This video is one of a series about cluster B personality disorders. That's histrionic, borderline, antisocial, narcissistic. Many people have heard of narcissistic personality disorder. I'm going to read to you what it is, and I'm going to talk to you about the criteria, and then I'm going to talk to you about how this disorder comes up in a lot of my cases. I've been practicing law since 2000, and I've done hundreds of jury trials and cross-examined thousands of witnesses. I've been involved in a lot of very serious cases where a man was being falsely accused by a spouse, a girlfriend, or someone they just met on the internet. What do you need to know if you're in a situation and you're being accused, or you think you might be accused, or if you're just in a very uncomfortable relationship where you're trying to figure out what is going on with this person? They are kind of crazy, they're scaring me, and they're dangerous. I've also worked with many forensic psychologists and psychiatrists defending people that have been accused of serious criminal offenses. I'm basing this off of the DSM-5. Now that is a book that psychologists and psychiatrists use to diagnose people with mental diseases or defects. And this is put out by the American Psychiatric Association. So let's get started. What is narcissistic personality disorder? These are the diagnostic criteria. It's a pervasive pattern of grandiosity in fantasy or behavior. It's a need for admiration and lack of empathy, beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts, as indicated by 5 or more of the following. Now, in the criteria for diagnosing someone with this personality disorder, there are 9 criteria that doctors are supposed to look at. Not everyone who has this is diagnosed. The fact is, most people are never diagnosed with this. They just go through life with this personality disorder, wreaking havoc, causing problems, just being very difficult to be around or to deal with. But every one of us that's listening, you're going to be able to identify people in your lives. Who knows, maybe even you will have some of these criteria. Most humans have some of these criteria. The thing is, you have to have 5 or more of these to actually have the disorder. Criteria 1, has a grandiose sense of self-importance. For example, exaggerates achievements and talents, expects to be recognized as superior without commensurate achievements. Grandiose sense of self-importance. You all know people out there who think they're so great, they think they're the boss, they call themselves princess, or I'm the queen, I'm the boss, babe. So let's talk about these. Exaggerates achievements. You ever meet someone who goes around talking about how rich they are, how successful they are, how accomplished they are? They're always talking about themselves, and you look at their background and their resume of what they've actually done, and it's really not much. Their life's filled with patterns of just failure, not doing well, never really doing anything, but they expect to be acknowledged as like the end all be all. The type of person who always has to tell you what you're doing wrong. Criteria 2, is preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. Now, before I get into this a little more, I want to make this clear. We're talking about people with narcissistic personality disorder that are accusing men of crimes they didn't commit. So in this video, we're specifically talking about women because we're talking about false allegations made against men. So let's talk about the second criteria. Preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, beauty. That person who's always trying to prove that they're the most beautiful, like they're gonna be a supermodel because they're so gorgeous. In reality, they're just an average person or below average, or maybe even above average, but they have this idea, this self-inflated idea of how gorgeous and how beautiful they are. It's a type of person that is literally sick and obsessed with taking photos of themselves, constantly trying to find the best one to show how beautiful they are, instead of just being a normal, natural person. Someone who goes through tons of plastic surgery because they have this idea that they're going to be the most beautiful. And there is no such thing, and you're never going to reach that. You're better off just being a normal person that's nice, cool, and friendly, but that's not what these people do. They're always, in their minds, they have this fantasy of they're going to be the most gorgeous, the most beautiful, the most successful. The thing is, it is a fantasy. I'm not talking Victoria's Secret model. Yeah, they could be a narcissist, but I'm talking people that aren't even anywhere close to that believe they are that. And you all know with social media and Instagram and TikTok, there are a lot of women out there that have problems that you and I both know that are narcissists that are constantly showing off their bodies and wanting recognition about how gorgeous and how great they are. It goes beyond just wanting someone to say you look cute, and it becomes a mental illness. And that's why this is a disorder, because these disorders disrupt people's lives. And they disrupt your life if you get involved with someone like this. If you marry someone like this, you're dating someone like this, you get sucked into their web, and before long, you're now in their world, their chaotic world that's basically based on low self-esteem, insecurities, and a very fragile ego. That's what's behind a narcissist. And that's why they constantly have to be deluding themselves to believe they're the most beautiful, the most intelligent. And let's move on to criteria number 3. They believe that they are special and unique and can only be understood by or associate with other special, high-status people or institutions. Now, here's the problem with this new trophy mentality. Everybody's special, everybody's unique. You can't tell anyone that they ever did anything wrong. Now, there's a difference between building up self-esteem and not trying to just criticize someone all the time. But there is a line there where people must learn to deal with failure and be resilient. But these narcissists, they can't do that. They have to believe that they are superior to everyone. They can do no wrong. They only associate with the best. You might be dating someone like this. They think they're so gorgeous and so superior. They only hang out with the best of the best. They only hang out with the richest, with the most buff, with the most handsome. They only want men that are 6'3", that worth $5 million and are NBA players. In reality, the person is punching way out of their weight class. That is a sign of someone who's a narcissist. Someone who looks at your Tinder profile, if you're an average, decent looking guy who's in decent shape with an average job, and they're like, oh, I'm better than him. I only go for the rock stars. And there's a ton of people like that out there. That's criteria number 3. Number 4, requires excessive admiration. Now, listen to the words here. Requires excessive admiration. Who doesn't like admiration? Who doesn't like praise? Everyone does. Everyone likes some sort of recognition and respect. Now, this becomes a problem when you require excessive admiration. You ever meet someone at work who doesn't do the work, doesn't do their job, and is always backstabbing everyone to try to get recognition for something they didn't do? Bad narcissistic leadership is where you're not doing jack squat, and you're taking credit for everyone else's work to the point where it becomes toxic. Where, oh my God, look at everything that I did. You know, you want praise. If you don't get praise, it's a problem. In a relationship, think about this. If you're married or dating someone like that, they're always focused on themselves. A lot of these people lack empathy towards others. It's all about them. And if you are late for a date or your date wasn't planned well enough, even though you're paying for it and you're busting your ass working 2 jobs, they're not happy with that because you're not showing them proper excessive admiration. These people are drained financially and mentally to deal with. Number 5, has a sense of entitlement. A sense of entitlement. That describes about 50% or more of the kids at Ivy League schools and some of these kids who are born into wealthy families that they feel they're so privileged that they're entitled to pretty much respect. They're entitled to everything, whether they earned it or not. Now, I'm not trying to bash people that are successful, but I've dealt with people at all ends of the spectrum. I grew up in Western Pennsylvania in the 1970s and 80s. My town was a poor, rundown steel town. I grew up with all types of people. Rich, poor, narcissistic, humble, you name it. With farmers to people that were drug dealers. Under the sense of entitlement, it goes on to explain, they have unreasonable expectations of especially favorable treatment and automatic compliance with his or her expectations. Think of the Karens out there. You know, Karens, those are women who go around, writing negative complaints and bossing everyone around. They act like their life was so miserable, so tough, and oh my God, the Starbucks, they put 1 drop too much of milk in there. I'm gonna go file a complaint and get that little blank fired. That's the type of person that I'm talking about in number 5. They expect to walk into a place and be treated like a princess. This might offend y'all. If the person you're dating has all these criteria and they want to be called daddy's little princess or the queen or the diva queen princess, 45 years old, that's a red flag. I always taught my kids, you're not a prince, you're not a princess. You're going to go out there and bust your butt and prove yourself. We're in America. This isn't England where we have princes and princesses. But a person who is raised differently might be raised thinking they're a prince or a princess. In reality, they're just some spoiled brat who wants to be treated with a bunch of praise. And when they don't get it, that's when they lash out. If you're in a relationship with someone like that and you don't give them that praise or that admiration, they will burn you and they will resent you. They're manipulating you, number one. Number two, if you don't give them what they want, then they will do things to hurt you, including accusing you of things, setting you up, cheating on you, and just trying to ruin you because you didn't treat the princess diva the way she deserved to be treated. Even if the person's a horrible person who doesn't deserve any nice treatment because they're just very mean, very bad, and very negative. Number 6 is interpersonally exploitative. Is interpersonally exploitative. They give a definition here. They take advantage of others to achieve his or her ends. So they're interpersonally exploitative. So they take advantage of their friends, of coworkers. That's the type of person you meet at work that everyone eventually hates. And they always blame it on someone else because narcissists are always the victims. No matter what, they can do no wrong. They can't take any responsibility. A true narcissist can take zero ownership of anything, period, in their life at all. It's always someone else's fault. They're always the victim. Meanwhile, they think they're Machiavellian. There's a book, it's about how to be exploitative to gain power, to gain wealth. And I hear people saying, oh, I'm Machiavellian. I'm like the prince. If you're like the prince, you're a horrible person. You're not a good person. You're someone who goes around hurting people. You're taking advantage of others to achieve his or her ends. So everyone listening to this knows someone that meets that criteria. Number 6, taking advantage of others to meet their ends. And a lot of guys fall for it. They get involved with someone who love bombs them and they're like, oh, this is so great. This woman's so nice. She's so into me. She's way out of my league. Now she's living with me. Now she's driving my car. Now she's on my bank account. Some of them they call parasitic narcissists. They latch on you for 6 months, love bomb you until they're so deep in, then their true personality comes out. And those are very difficult to deal with. They'll openly threaten you and try to destroy you. But everything they're doing is borderline sociopathic, and they're doing everything to exploit and burrow in and become a parasite on you. What happens when you get rid of the parasite? Do they go willingly? No. One of the easiest things to do if you're a parasitic narcissist is to just throw out an allegation of, oh my God, he's an abuser. Everyone's going to believe them. They're usually very good actors. They have no empathy. They have no feelings. And they will go down to the police station and lie to try to get you out of their life and use that as leverage against you. I see this all the time in divorce cases and in false allegations of domestic violence, sexual assault, sexual harassment even. I've seen coworkers do that where they're not getting what they want and they're exploiting everyone. And next thing you know, the commander is a predator. The commander did this, the commander did that. And these people are dangerous because they gather evidence from the beginning and they save it. It's super dangerous. This is one of the number one factors you need to watch out for. If they burn someone else, they burn their mother, brother, sister, a family member, for example, ex-husband, ex-wife, or their kids. If they burn their kids and family members and friends, and they don't have a lot of friends, their friends are always doing them wrong, and everyone at work is doing them wrong, and everyone at school is doing them wrong. If they burn other people, they will burn you. People leave clues to who they are. So if you're now in your 30s or 40s and you're meeting someone who everyone in their life has abused them, everyone has mistreated them, everyone has done stuff wrong to them, you need to run the other way because you're going to be the next guy being accused. Don't be those white knights like so many of our clients are. They're often like, no, that's horrible what happened to her. Very naive. I'm not that type of guy, so I don't think it was a problem. Fast forward a year and a half. Now they're sitting next to me in front of a jury having to cross-examine that person and I'm defending them on a false rape charge and they don't know how this happened. I'm like, well, if she burned everyone else in her family, including her parents, her own kids, her coworkers, her alleged best friends, why wouldn't she burn you, dude? Gotta have your eyes open and be alert. Number 7, these get worse as we go up. Lacks empathy. They have no feelings. They're sociopathic. They could care less if they burn you. They are manipulating you and they have no feelings about it. They will make you feel guilty. If you're a normal person that has empathy, you'll be like assuming they have empathy, right? But in reality, they have none. They see you as a tool that they are using and they are going to exploit. It goes on, is unwilling to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of others. In other words, they're a sociopath. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care if they just screwed you out of a job. They don't care if they broke up your relationship with your children. You know, another red flag. A woman who gets in your relationship and everything seems great. She's love bombing you, sex. Next thing you know, she's cutting your ties with your own family and friends. Huge red flag. That's number 7. Unwilling to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of others. She doesn't understand why you need to have friends, why you have a relationship with your parents or with your kids. You take 6 and 7, the exploitativeness and the unwilling to recognize feelings of others, and you have a very dangerous individual. So be alert and stay out of these situations. If you're in a situation like this, you need to document everything and probably seek professional help on how to get out of it. And you're not going to change someone who has a personality disorder. That's why it's a disorder. It is a mental disease or defect. That's why I'm reading out of this book, okay? You can't fix it. You can't change it. I would stay out of the relationship if possible. Number 8 is often envious of others or believes that others are envious of them. Have you ever met someone who's super jealous? If you get tuned into people and their behaviors, you can see these people. You talk to them, they're looking you up and down, they're judging you, they're not even listening to you, and they're thinking, can I use this person? Are they someone I can use, someone I can benefit from? If yes, they'll be super nice and sweet to you and love bomb you and compliment you. If not, it's like you're talking to someone who's not even paying attention. That is the sign of a narcissist. These people are envious of other people. Be careful with envious people, because those same types, according to the DSM-5, they often believe that others are envious of them. Have you ever met someone who goes around and is always like, oh my God, all the people are jealous of me. They think I'm so gorgeous. Everyone's jealous of them and their kids and everything they have. And then they're the ones that are super jealous. You can't say anything to them without them kind of rolling their eyes and then trying to one-up you. Stay out of these relationships, people. They're dangerous. If you start combining this one with the others, these are the types that'll be envious of friends. They're envious of their children. They're envious of family members. If that's your wife, and you get a promotion at work or you get some sort of praise at work, they're jealous of you. How can you be in a relationship like that? Again, those types, if you throw in a lack of empathy and the manipulative nature, they will destroy you and they will ruin your career. Number 9 of 9, shows arrogant, haughty behaviors or attitudes. We all know who these people are. Just go to Instagram. The people who think they're so cool and so beautiful and they're like the coolest kids in the school, and they're so gorgeous, and they only go to the most expensive places. I was at the party with P. Diddy last week, and oh my God, he's like my best friend. Those are the people that satisfy number 9. They think they're so much better. They wear only designer things, and then they got to tell you about it. For me, I could give a crap less about a Gucci belt, for example. But I know people, and they get on my nerves, that always talk about, oh my God, I don't want to dirty my Gucci shoes. Like, what are you even wearing those ugly ass shoes for anyway? That's usually my response. They're not impressing me, okay? But they think they're impressing everyone. And those types of people are usually sizing you up. So the bottom line is this. If you know someone that has 5 or more of those criteria, and be thinking in your head like, these people might have a narcissistic personality disorder, and I'm about to marry them, or I just started dating them and I'm starting to see these traits. If you want to ignore the red flags, and you want to be in a situation, start saving up money to help defend you at your trial. I have hundreds of clients who have been through this. They would tell you the same thing. You got to avoid the situation. And if you don't avoid it, if you are naive and you turn a blind eye, you're going to end up in some situation where your career, your freedom, your life, you might not be able to see your kids, is going to be in jeopardy. And guess what? Welcome to America, guys. With toxic masculinity being preached everywhere, guess who's going to get custody of the kids? Guess who they're going to believe? We start by believing all victims in the military. Guess who is going to be on trial and is going to lose their career? The narcissistic wife? Heck no. Nothing's going to happen to her. It's going to be you and your loved ones that are suffering and fighting your way out of a terrible situation and spending a ton of money fighting to clear your name just to get back at a base level. So try to avoid these people. Talk to a professional if you're in a situation like that and figure out how to get out of that. There's a lot of men's help groups that deal with this. Take their advice and their experiences that they learn from and apply them to your life. If you convict someone of a crime based on the fact that someone is crying and they're emotional, you're going to get innocent men getting put in jail left and right. And it's our job to stop that from happening. But you can educate yourself and be aware of these types of people and avoid getting involved in relationships that includes casual sex, because that is usually the door that they use to burrow themselves into your life and start to rot your life from the inside out.